So we have a beautiful graph over here, which is obviously a bar graph, which shows the electronic device usage pattern among UTM students. So this particular graph is based on the question where the students are using the electronic devices for studying or completing assignments or not. So this graph is created with the help of RStudio and the ggplot library. That's why we get differentiate between male and female participants or students. For an example, we can concisely see that 11 of the male students agreed and 9 of the female students agreed. Now, the graph is a y-axis of number of students and the x-axis of students' opinion, whether they agreed or not. So if we dive deeper and do some calculations behind the scenes, we can come up with a percentage which says that 57% of students, both male and female, agreed strongly agreed. 47% of the students strongly agreed, and while 35% of the students agreed. So this makes up around more than 90% of the students agreed and strongly agreed, which is a good thing. While four students were neutral, where two are male and two are female. Now, nobody's fortunate enough. Nobody disagreed or strongly disagreed, which takes us to the fact that all of the students are from school of computing, and obviously we expect them to study and complete assignments using their electronic devices, which makes this graph and the data valid.
So next up we have a plot of how often people use their electronic devices versus how much time they spend on it, and it's also divided between courses. So it's there to see if there's any correlation or pattern we could find, but we couldn't. And if I go here and if I do this, I can like create a trend line which over here shows that it's the scatter plot is moderately strong, and it's in the positive direction, which says that the more often people use the device, the more the time they spend on it.
Okay, this is the pie chart of courses. SCCP has the most number of respondents, which is 16. SCCB is the second highest with 12 respondents, while SCCI and CCJ have the same number of respondents, which is 10 each. SCCB, although, has the least number of respondents, which is 6. The bar chart illustrates the number of electronic devices owned by users based on gender. The vertical axis represents the number of users, while the horizontal axis represents the number of electronic devices owned according to gender. Only two respondents own one device each. 11 respondents own two and four devices respectively, while 9 respondents own three electronic devices. Majority of the males and females own 5 electronic devices. Almost the same number of males and females own 6 electronic devices. The number of male users that own 7, 9, and 10 electronic devices are 1, 2, and 1 respectively. None of them are females. No males nor females own 8 electronic devices. The bar chart illustrates the number of males and females that think owning an electronic device is necessary. The vertical axis represents the number of users, while the horizontal axis represents the necessity scale according to gender. Majority of the males and females strongly agree with the statement. Almost the same number of males and females agreed with the statement. 7 respondents had a neutral opinion about it, and only 2 respondents disagreed, but no one strongly disagreed, which is actually a good thing.
This is a stem and leaf diagram that refers to the age of people who have conducted this survey. This diagram clearly shows that only one person that conducted this survey is from 19 years old. 29 of them are of 20 years old, 7 of them are 21 years old, 5 of them are of 22 years old, 8 of them are from 23 years old, and the last 4 will be 24 years old. So what we can conclude is most of them who have conducted this survey are of 20 years old and least would be 19 years old. The following diagram shows the pie chart of gender. This pie chart clearly shows that 41.82% who conducted this survey are female and 58.18% who conducted these surveys are male. So this means that around 23 females and 31 males have conducted this survey.
And so what we can see here is the openness in using smart devices in a day, which is put in a box plot. And from this box plot, the first thing we can see is that the first quartile is much bigger than the third quartile. And what this means is that it is a negatively skewed box plot. And we can see in the middle we have our median with a value of 7, which separates the first quartile and the third quartile. Very obvious to see that the first quartile is much bigger. Other than that, we can also see that the value of the top whisker is 10 and the lower whisker is 2. Moving on, we also have a box plot for the ofteness in using smart devices in a day for only our female recipients. And from here we can see that the third quartile is bigger than the first quartile, and this makes it a positively skewed box plot with a median of 6, which separates the first quartile and the third quartile again. And here we can also see that the upper whisker is 10 and the lower whisker is 2. And finally, we can move on to our bar graph of the number of years using electronic devices. And this is in total of our 54 participants, and it is color coded. The pink ones are for our female participants and the blue ones are for our male participants. And from here we can see that the highest number of years used is 5 years, with a total of 12 people for female and 8 males. And the lowest is actually 1 year. So only one participant, which is a male participant, has been using a smart device for 1 year. And if we go a bit above that, we have 9 years, which is one male and one female participant. From this graph we can clearly see how organized the bar graph is and how it's distributed. We can see that there's an equal number of male and female participants in 10 years, with 4 male and 4 female participants, and then almost similar also in 6 years with 4 male and 4 female participants as well.